Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
Do you know Army?
Hi everyone, welcome back. I'm Sarah.
I'm Mako.
Zoe.
And Buana.
And today we are going to chat about some different things today. We have a few different things to talk about. We're going to touch a bit on the label. And as Mimi so eloquently put it, how we've all been feeling since the Last Supper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which needs no definition. We all know what the Last Supper was.
Yeah.
Who wants to kick us off? How y'all feeling? Zoe's hallucinating.
Like it was the Last Supper.
Like it was the Last Supper.
Good, so I'm not the only one.
So it's kind of strange because part of me feels, I'm happy and excited because I know I'm going to get albums from each of our guys. And I'm looking forward to that. And because we got performances and videos when HYBE released his, I expect performances and videos when the other guys release theirs. So I expect some content. It's just a matter of, it feels like a year in between each
when
content
I dare
release.
say when.
Seriously, come on, guys. You've had, I don't know, a decade.
They also
feels that way.
low-key kind of baited us during the dinner where they were really implying that all of them would release an album this year.
One after
One
another.
after another. That's
They
that's what it
heavily
seemed
implied that, and we're already in October, and we've seen HYBE's album. So
I mean, great job, HYBE.
yeah, great
Yes.
job, HYBE.
So,
That,
Okay,
that,
who
that
next?
fed us. That did really feed us.
shoot,
It
the
really
performance, HYBE
My
Palooza.
God.
They should have
That-
managed your expectations, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. Part of me is excited for the other albums, but most of me is like we were just 2 weeks ago, we were watching a little bit of Wings, and we were like, dang, I missed them. I missed this. I missed the concert.
I know for me, I know it's got to be because I'm OT7, and I said this when the Last Supper happened. I'm OT7, so I know it was going to be hard because it's great we get a little bit from here, a little bit from there, a little bit from here. And I thought, okay, that's going to feed me, then it's going to feed me, then it's going to feed me. But honestly, I'm going through OT7 withdrawals. It is hard not seeing them
I do feel bad for OT7.
together. It's hard not
That's
not
right.
seeing
And we've
them
had a few
together.
different theories so far, right? Like, y'all know that how much we like to speculate.
Yeah,
We're constantly
we do.
speculating.
Speculate queens.
We have wondered amongst ourselves if the boys are kind of waiting out their contract.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with.
Which we're okay with
It's
overall.
just a matter
let me say this.
pain.
I thought about, I wanted to educate myself. What's the difference between a label and an agency? We talk about HYBE and we talk about big hit music. We talk more about HYBE than we do big hit music. Just to remind everybody, HYBE is a corporation.
Yeah.
Big Hit Entertainment changed over to the name HYBE. Big Hit Music.
It's just their label. It's just their music
Yeah,
label.
but Big Hit Music was something else before Big Hit Music. It was Big Hit. It was just Big Hit label.
Yeah, it was just
Big Hit. No, it wasn't Big Hit Entertainment because the overarching umbrella was Big Hit Entertainment. But then Big Hit
Wasn't
Big
it
Hit
Big Hit
labels-
Music? Just
No, it changed. They dropped whatever was at the end and changed it to
Oh.
music. When we had that briefing, that the HYBE name changed, and then he told us everything that was going to be under it. Here's my point. For Big Hit Music, he said Big Hit Music would take care of, and this was P.D. Bang said Big Hit Music would take care of the artist, the music, and the fandom. That's what Big Hit Music was going to take care of. With that in mind, as I began to try and educate myself between the difference between an agency and a label, and look at all the things that they've done since the change happened, they kind of meshed the two. They meshed the two responsibilities. Because Big Hit Music, meaning P.D. Bang, is supposed to be controlling their music. BTS music, BTS
I think they
artists.
got boundary issues.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to us that P.D. Bang is controlling any of that. And what we do know is the guys themselves have said that they are no longer in control of their stuff anymore. So if they're not controlling it, and it seems to us that Big Hit Music is not controlling it, Big Hit Music is the one that should be controlling it because they are the label, the agency, which is a corporation. HYBE is a corporation. Is the one that seems to be controlling it.
Well, consider this. I mean, after P.D. Bang left, does anyone have any obligation to follow what he said? I mean, they should ethically, but they're a corporation.
Well, here's the thing. It's supposed to be separate. You're supposed to have your
It is
label,
supposed to be separate.
and then you have your agency. You're supposed to these two things So your agency is the one that's supposed to back you with making sure all of your stuff is going to get out there. Promotions, making sure everything that you work hard at is going to get out there. Your label is supposed to provide everything that you need to make it
well,
to work hard.
Also consider this: nothing works well without the right leadership. And after PD Bang left, we don't even know who runs the label anymore.
Because he said he was going back to what he felt like he was strong at. But where'd you go to? Where'd you go to?
We don't know where he went to.
His house, because that's where Jim is seemed to be hanging out. His house.
Where did you go to do it? Like, did you go? But you did not say you was going back to Big Hit Music. You just said you was going back to doing what you.
His house. That's
I'm pretty sure he just left the company like altogether whatsoever. And that's the thing. I didn't even realize it until you brought that up. But we never even found out. We don't know who is in charge of Big Hit label.
We know what we were told. Was that Big Hit Music was going to be in charge of them.
We don't really know why he officially stepped down.
Yeah,
he said it. He did.
He wanted to get back.
He
to
said
his roots.
he was not good at what he was doing. He was not good at the role he was living, and that he needed to get back to what he was good at. But where did you go to get back at it? Where did you go to get started with it again?
I guess back to his
You're
garage.
saying that to say what?
I assumed he was going back to Big Hit Music, but if he was, we don't see
don't see the fruits of that label.
We don't see the fruits of that. Yeah. What we do see, what we did learn in that long Billboard article that we've talked about before, was that the guys began to make some compromises when they decided to
put the company before themselves.
And they began to make some compromises.
I mean, I can also definitely see from the boys' perspective, like seeing the patterns that HYBE has given us so far, like disappointing patterns. What if the boys don't want to prolong the whole Dynamite, like permission to dance, etc. thing that HYBE had made them do for pretty much like 6 months to a year, right? What if they assume that HYBE's going to make them keep doing that stuff, and so they're trying to put the pause button on now before it just completely ruins what BTS is about?
I'm invested in that theory because it makes sense for them to focus on their individual albums, as a way of buying time until their contract is up.
Also, HYBE can't micromanage all 7 of them. It's kind of like if you're trying to run away from something,
you can't
you're like,
micromanage
okay, split up.
That's for sure.
You sure can't micromanage Jen.
They need to be
Jen's been the rule breaker from the
micromanaging. They
beginning.
need to be micromanaging these 6 groups that they said they were going to try and come out with prior to, and they said this in the Billboard article, that prior to the 2024 ending of this current contract, that they were going to try and debut at least another 6 groups.
I think that they don't have their stuff together at all. I mean, you
need.
see the amount of disorganization that they've been having this entire time. And I mean, even with the boys, who, as much as, HYBE wants to deny, is not 95% of their income pretty much. The boys simply are, okay? So one, I can understand why the agency would out of fear want to micromanage the boys because they make so much of their income.
Get as much as they can.
But ironically, they don't understand that is doing, like, is having the opposite effect. And I can definitely see that if our speculation is true about the boys having some issues with the agency, that this is the best compromise they can come up with, where they're just like, okay, stop controlling our music, stop controlling our image.
I wonder how they lost it. How did you go from not being the number one in the world and having control, and then becoming the number one in the world and not having control? Like, how did they lose it?
Because their freaking agency just stopped being Big Hit. Now they're just the Big 4.
Yeah. They stopped being big. PD Bang said, Big Hit Music is going to manage and control the artist, the music, and the fandom.
Somebody
and
lying.
That is not
Somebody
happening.
lying.
That's the bottom line. Because if that were happening, just as confused and all over the place as we are, they are right now.
Oh, absolutely.
They said that so as much at the dinner. They said that they are just at, or RM said it, that he's at a loss. He doesn't know how they are defined as BTS right now. And we got to do something different. And it's time for us to break off, do this different, so we can figure out who we are as people and be able to go on. Everything else is just smothering us, and our cup is just flowing over, and we have to put a stop to it. And we understood that. But he came to us not long ago. That was the other thing we have talked about in K-Talk.
His live, yeah.
His V Live. When he came to us not long ago, and he still seemed out of sorts. Because he said, we've been talking a lot lately as to where are we going? Where are we going? Trying to make some decisions, so forth and so on. And you have these issues, internal issues, outside issues. And so from the beginning of the year in the Last Supper to a live he did on his birthday month, they're still confused. They're still not being managed. We're confused. So you're not managing the fandom. You are not managing the fandom. You're not. Army is all over the place.
Literally, they are.
They're all over the place. You're not managing the fandom. You're not managing the guys. You're not managing the music. Because what have we gotten? We've gotten some singles.
What irks my soul, if it's not broken, why the hell are you trying to fix it? We had a good thing going on. You even had a freaking roadmap. Like, it wasn't like you had to reinvent the wheel.
That's true.
The wheel was already there. Just keep it turning.
Yeah, if we rewind back to 2018, 2019, Chicago
times.
time, those were the glory days.
Yes.
I mean, we were excited about these new business meetings they were coming out with. Yeah. Exactly like Mimi said, we had this beautiful roadmap. PD Neem had a vision. I think that's a big thing, too. PD Neem had a vision. He's always had a vision. Mm-hmm. Where is the vision right now for
It done died,
what vision do they have?
It done died.
Now, granted,
or he gave up on
point, when they had the Last Supper, they were absolutely right. At some point, something was going to have to give. Everything was just overflowing for them, and they had to cut it off in some way. They had to.
Yeah,
they had to because nobody else was doing it.
I wonder if they were being infected by that. Remember we talked about how that culture and that mentality of the other three. How
absolutely because it was creeping its way in.
Did not we bring people into our house?
Yes,
from other agencies.
Yes, it was creeping its way in. And it was greatly affecting our guys. Yeah. So they had to do something to cut that off. And that's understandable. They had to. Because if you aren't going to do it for us and you're not going to keep managing us and you're not going to guide us as to how we get to the other side, we got to do it ourselves.
And how else could they have done it without violating their contract? Because I understand with that too. Yeah. Because if it was just one of them, for example, then maybe they might have considered just cutting off a contract and dealing with the consequences. But I can definitely think from RM's point of view, because he's trying to take care of all the boys, that he would try to find the safest thing to do
that keeps everybody in contact. Yes. That keeps everybody together. When I say together, I just mean BTS and ARMY.
Exactly. So we definitely feel like this is his compromise. Because I definitely feel like it is a compromise. Because that's the impression the boys have been giving us. I mean, we already found out in hindsight, because we recently watched the Permission to Dance concert again, because it came out on streaming, and we realized all the clues the boys were giving us in advance of the supper. I mean, Jimin was upset, and the fact that they said, we don't know when is the next time we're going to see you. Now we know what that means. And Jungkook going off about this is never going to be the last time. Like, RM cursing, like I think he was in some kind of mood.
Gosh, this conversation is bringing up in me all types of emotions. Like, I want to hug our boys, kiss them and tell them it's gonna be okay, and at the same time I want to like deck them, because I still to this day don't think they understand the amount of power that they have and the amount of control they can have. How can you let them take that from you?
I agree with that.
Well, because the cultural difference.
And so it takes a bit to come out of that cultural mindset.
True.
And then also there's contracts in place. I mean, there are things that they still have to.
Yeah. On top of that, PD Neem was leading them this whole time. This is partially why when he left, I wasn't upset at him for leaving. I was kind of upset at him for not leaving guidance for the boys,
or something contractual to help protect the boys.
Yes, exactly. Like putting some structure in place to still protect the boys, because he pretty much just left them high and dry.
Transition. It was
not what HYBE is doing, because Big Hit Music. And let me say this: if what is going on with them has everything to do with Big Hit Music, I'm going to be furious, because you told us that you're going to be managing the guys or managing the groups, which is 3. It's the soloist, TXT, and our guys. You're going to be managing the groups, managing the music, and managing the fandom. So if this is actually you doing that, and it has nothing to do with HYBE doing that, We know the things that HYBE has put in place. HYBE has put in place a crap load of marketing.
Yeah.
So they can continue at, hopefully at the level that they want to continue at once BTS took this break or once BTS contract is up in 2024. They put together a crap load of marketing and they are continuously making money off of the world and of armies. However, if the changes that we've seen, them not feeling like they're in control of their music, them not feeling like they're in control of what they have to do or what they can't do or what they can do, if this has everything to do with Big Hit Music, I will be furious.
I sure hope
because
it
we've been thinking it's
same.
got everything to do with HYBE. But you literally told us you're going to be managing the guys. You're going to be managing their music. You're going to still be in, which is the point of a label. But you...
So the bottom line is we're still in turmoil. I mean, we're in that limbo space of, okay, we're getting some albums. Don't know when we're getting those albums. Contracts up in 2024, so we got to kind of tread water until then. And we don't know... We just don't know anymore. We're not as connected to the system and to our guys as we used to.
And we're just as confused as they are.
Yeah, and here's the thing, too. Like, considering all this turmoil, I definitely wonder if the boys all have their albums done, but they don't agree with the way that HYBE wants to release them. Because I can definitely see, we've mentioned before, like, their promotions, even for the things that have been coming out, are just weird, all over the place. Nonsensical.
Let me say this, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I had to separate those two things in my mind. Remember what I just said, that HYBE has put in place a lot of promotional stuff.
Yeah.
That has to do with BTS, BT21. BT21 is out
is
to another
off the
zone.
Chain. Yeah,
they have V Lives every day. BT21
Really?
has V Lives every day.
Yeah,
they have a V Live announcement
more content
every day. They have more content than the guys.
The babies
do.
have grown up.
The babies have grown up and out. You're not gonna want to because the babies, you don't even recognize them anymore.
Are you
They're
kidding
everything
me?
Besides what we
yes,
started
they
off
have
with.
like completely morphed on
They're donuts.
So many things.
They're popcorn. They're just all over the place. But my point is, HYBE has taken off with a lot of promotional things that they are hoping, I'm sure, is going to keep them elevated as BTS does their BTS thing. So they've put in, so I had to separate those things is my point to you. They've put, we talked about the Me, Myself, and Jungkook, Me, Myself, and RM, Me, Myself, and Jimin has now come out. Those things, now we know what they are. They're photo books. They're photo albums. RM has his own, JK has his own, so forth and so on. Down the line, every boy will have their own. Every man will have their own. So these are promotional items. Why did they come about? I ask my army self, why did they come about?
That's the thing.
What did it promote? It's promoting them. It's just promoting photos.
There's a huge shift in the nature of the content that they've released since HYBE has taken over and there's no PD Neem like direction. In that before we had music first and then all the promotions, everything is meant
to go along
support
with
the music and support the boys themselves.
Now it's a separation.
Yes, it's like they completely flipped it. They just want to fill in their quotas, like their sales numbers.
So that's what HYBE is busy doing.
Yeah.
What the
creating all this random standalone stuff.
What is Big Hit Music busy doing? So let's just say Big Hit Music is busy helping the guys start on the next leg of what they wanted to do, which was get themselves together. In getting themselves together, RM said that there were other things he wanted to do besides just constantly being the mouth for them, constantly having to write lyrics, constantly. There are other things he wanted to do. He began to want to contribute to humanity and the world in a different way, and he did not have the time to do that. He didn't have the wherewithal. He couldn't pinpoint exactly what it was even that he wanted to do. With that in mind, he wasn't the only one. Yoongi wanted to. Jin wanted to. They all had other aspects and other things that they wanted to begin doing, but because their cup was so spilled over, they had to put a stop to that first so they could then. So let's just say Big Hit Music is managing and helping the guys on this venture of RM. What is it you want to do? Okay, let's help you get to that mark, which we've learned now he wants to contribute to the art world, and that's great. There's a lot he's beginning to do and a lot that he wants to do. That's the passion he's putting himself into now. So as armies, we wanted them to start on another path and contributing to us with their music and their entertainment but there are other things. There are other things that they have a passion to.
I still have mixed emotions about that as well. I don't know if it's the selfishness in me, but I feel like that's stuff they can do when they retire.
Well, my thing about it is that I definitely feel like this would have been I don't think that they would have needed to take a break to do all this stuff if HYBE didn't create that situation for them to begin with. Because think about, again, back in glory days of around the time that we went to Chicago, I completely envision that they could have done this stuff at the same time as their concerts and stuff like that, and that big hit would have supported them in doing it. I honestly feel like my personal opinion is that HYBE was basically telling them, like, you can do that in your own time. I don't care what you want to do personally. You have to do Permission to Dance, and you guys have to do this online concert.
You have to continue being that money-making machine.
You guys have to do the activities that we have set out for you, specifically because you're obligated by contract. Whereas I think in the old days, when PD Neem still had full control, I completely see him taking that opportunity to make it like a win-win situation for everyone and said, okay, we'll support you in doing that. Let's put our heads together and think about how we can do both.
At the same time, even.
At the same time, yes.
So and that's not to take away, I mean, I'm sure there are a lot, we're 90 million strong. There are a lot of armies that feel exactly what Mimi just said.
Yes, I agree. Too.
Everything that you guys are wanting to do. V, you want to go off and be a VJ, DJ, what have you. You want to add to the arts. You want to go do the gaming thing. You want to produce other music, so forth and so on. We love that. We support that. You got to be you. Why can't you do it in retirement? So I'm sure there's a lot of people that feel that way. What we cannot overlook is, say if they had the mindset, okay, all these things we want to do, guys, we're going to continue to put them on hold. Get ourselves together. We can do that in retirement. We know that we've made enough money in life. Or do it during their
breaks, because they got annual breaks. They would make an announcement. BTS
we mentioned they were supposed to get a break during the pandemic.
In the 10 years, they've gotten one annual break. They had that one break that was
historic. They had more than one.
They had that one. Go back and
they had more than one.
They had one, and then the pandemic happened. They had one the year before the pandemic happened. That was their first official BTS since they started is taking an official break. And the announcement was put out. They had that break, and that was the year before the pandemic started. Then they had the pandemic. So an official break that the company had to actually go worldwide and say, hey, officially they are taking a break.
They've done that before.
That one time, that was it.
I'm going to have to look into that one. But anyway, that's
I just recently did. And the only one break that they officially took was before the pandemic.
No,
and then
because
the pandemic
I remember
happened.
something about, if you see them out,
That was then.
That was
then.
There was one before. Okay.
That was then.
Okay.
But my point is, they said at the Last Supper, and they told us, and a lot of them have hinted since the Last Supper, that kind of what we talked about one other time, the pressure they had no idea the pressure was going to be as consuming as it is. And it has gotten to the point, whether or not they took this hiatus, whether or not they took the time to go and do their things that they had a passion for, something was going to have to give. Something was going to have to give. Yoongi sat at the table and told us that it was too much. RM sat at the table and told us it was too much. Too much. The demand was too much. President Moon, before he left office, he said, we are looking for BTS to be X, Y, and Z for our country post-pandemic. He said that before he left office. He said that in the middle of pandemic, we are looking for them to bring about great things for our country. And I'm paraphrasing him, but this is exactly what he said. So the pressure of what this country was expecting from them, they've been expecting before pandemic ended. They expected that later on, we expect these things from y'all because this is the level y'all have reached. Y'all are our greatest export.
And I honestly don't think that the company would have even encouraged them to take a break, because because PD Neem is their papa. He cares about their well-being. HYBE does not. We've already been able to tell that for a long time. I mean, we even have complained about already that the pandemic would have been a perfect time for them to take a break.
And they didn't. It seemed like everything was just more piled upon them.
They're having them dance in commercials the entire time.
So my point is, even if they did put everything on hold until retirement, their passions on hold until retirement, something was going to have to give. Because think about the flip side of that. When something didn't give for artists, worldwide, in any artist in any industry, but artists specifically in the Korean K-pop industry, when something didn't give for them, the flip side of that was dark. Yeah. Something had to give for our guys. Yeah. Whether or not it was this, something was going to have to give.
And I think the guys knew, too, because the guys are much more, at least assertive with their mental health than some of the other groups in the industry. But
a podcast or so ago, we mentioned it's fine if they go through stuff. It's fine if they give a little here, give a little there. It's fine. It's a matter of how they go about it. The communication ceased. That's true. The understanding is non-existent. It's the way they're going about this is not appropriate for the standards we have between ARMY and BTS.
And Jimin mentioned that. He's mentioned that several times. I think that hurts him and RM to their core more than... I'm sure all of the guys are affected by this, but they have actually said it. That there are things we want to communicate with them and we can't, and it hurts us.
Which is messed up.
And so Jimin has said that more than once. And when he says it with such passion, and he says it like his teeth aren't gritting, but it's like he's saying it through gritted
because
teeth.
They're really transparent. And think about the fact that for years before HYBE came in and like changed everything, the boys had that ability.
They were more open with this.
We mentioned before, like Mimi even put it before, that they started with full freedom, and it seems ironically that the bigger they get, it's like they get less freedom, which makes no sense for them and like their experience. You should be getting more freedom the more prominent you are in your career. But it's the opposite for them. And so imagine like being used to being able to just say what you want to say on V Live.
I mean, because you go back and look at those very beginning vlogs. Yeah. They were very candid as young boys. They were, I'm sick, I'm cold, I didn't get this, I didn't get that.
I think the only thing that's helping me wrap my brain around this is the fact that it's a cultural thing. Because my American mind don't get it.
Yeah, it's definitely...
they have a reputation. They have characters they're trying to protect. Like it's.
You have a place that you have to remain in that culture, and even though they're worldwide at this point, that's still embedded in them from birth.
And considered too, like speaking on that cultural thing, it sucks for them because back when they were less recognized by their own country, because we mentioned it took Korea quite a while to fully recognize them as national icons. Before that, these big political figures who came up out of nowhere, honestly, who are now requesting things of them, didn't give a crap about BTS.
Correct.
Didn't care about what BTS did. Absolutely. But in all of a sudden now, especially since the American activities, y'all remember that when they announced The Last Supper, we had these random people out of nowhere, ain't nobody even heard of them from ARMY until now, literally having the audacity to go and publicly say, please don't take a break. Please don't.
Yeah, like,
please put more money in my pocket.
But that goes towards the fact that President Moon, now keep in mind, it's been almost a year they've had another president in office. President Moon, before he left office, even said those words. Yeah. That their country is expected. There were big things that were supposed to be coming way back then that the country was going to be demanding of these boys. He said that.
I would not be surprised if
why is that pressure... I almost said the group's name. Why? BTS is big, but there are also other K-pop groups that are big. Why is that pressure not being applied to them?
That is a great question.
No, I can answer it. Nobody has an army but BTS.
No. I'm sorry. There are some K-pop bands that are on BTS Hill. By far, BTS is number one. And they're not in danger. That position is not being threatened by anyone. But there's a girl group.
You can say Blackpink. We talk about other...
That's
all the
huge.
Time. And their organization, their fandom does not carry the weight. Blink, I don't even know their name.
They are Blinks.
Okay, so Blinks don't.
Blinks, I'm telling you, Blinks have a very when I watch certain videos where it can like I don't know what these videos are called, but basically what it shows is that BTS, who has the most number one records, first place is this person, always in streaming, in video watches, in music sales, Blackpink is number two.
But you answered your own question. So even if they're at the top, they're at the pinnacle, they're up there, they're still not at BTS level.
Well, my thing also is, consider this. When BTS's more like outside of music activities started growing, right? Mm-hmm. Like I'll start, because it's a little bit of gray area. I'll start when they became official ambassadors. Okay, like say Japan ambassadors. Mm-hmm. I feel like one of the reasons why their outside of music activities started is because of the message that their music was pushing. Mm-hmm. Because the whole Love Yourself campaign was compatible with UNICEF. Their other messages were compatible with more humanitarian efforts. And this is not to hate on Blackpink at all. I'm just making an observation. Yep. No Filipino shade. Their music / content is just still contained within K-pop.
Because of their music / content, ARMYs have done far exceeding what Blinks have done or may ever do. Because ARMYs have made a difference politically. We've made a difference in the arts. We've made a difference in philanthropy.
I get it. Because I wasn't trying to. I get what you're saying. Yeah, because I feel like if we keep on going that direction, but yes, I get what you're saying. Yes, they have put themselves out there outside of the realm of K-pop.
I think that other groups definitely have the potential to do that. They just simply haven't.
But they don't have. Somebody mentioned in our group not long ago, like, I almost called them pink ladies.
Excuse me?
Blackpink.
Okay.
That they don't put out a lot of albums. We already knew that. We've talked about that. Yeah. However, in the in-between time, I never thought the in-between time. Like, the in-between time, if you're not putting out a lot of albums, you're not doing a lot of promoting. You're not doing a lot of performing. You did Coachella.
Yeah.
And you did, but you're not doing a lot. So the in-between time, you're not...
They're doing things, but it's more on a personal level. Like one of them is an ambassador for Prada,
exactly.
But they're not doing humanitarian things.
Well, no, that's not what I mean. I mean, you're not doing. Our guys, when they put out an album, they performed, they toured, they put out another album before they finished touring, and then started the next tour. When your albums are stretched out like that, what the heck are you doing the in between time? And that's not them; that's their agency.
Yes, exactly. So, which is also why none of this is directed towards them.
They don't have a leg up as far as that is concerned. First and foremost, because our guys had a leg up with that with Big Hit Entertainment.
I don't know if that makes a difference, but
it makes a difference to the country, is what I mean. That's why the country is looking at them
Big
and not
Hit
saying
this is one of the ways that Big Hit was doing things differently. Mm-hmm. Where before, the big three were only tunnel vision within the K-pop industry, making yourselves money. That is where we're staying. But Big Hit was the first to venture out of that and be like, hey, with the messages we have, we can look to doing more than just making great music.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter how much it does matter, because obviously BTS is still the top, but the streaming and the numbers of record sales and so forth and so on, that can go from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, but there is nobody that you can actually say, like Biden said, when BTS talks, when ARMY talks, the world listens. You don't have that with a lot of people.
We mentioned before too that like ARMYs are almost on a scary level organizational.
Mm-hmm. We're organized crime.
We can be organized crime or organized good. Depends on the day. We're always saying it depends on the day. It really depends on the day. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, all that to say, Big Hit was doing so many things that were different and revolutionary and innovative, and that was like a pillar of what Big Hit and ARMYs were standing for before. But I realize now that P.D. Neem's gone that I really think that his vision was like an absolute cornerstone to that innovation, because now that he's gone, they've been doing nothing but playing it safe. They have literally not tiptoed out of the play it safe big three safe zone.
So the very thing that we are saying that puts BTS apart from other groups, are they not falling back into that box?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They're not even trying to be different anymore. It's like they're so scared of losing their revenue that ironically they're doing
money grabbers at this point.
Yeah, they're doing the things
they're focused on what the big three has always focused on, because they have become a part of the big three.
Yeah.
And when our guys in Big Hit Entertainment actually focused on worldwide things.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about Connect BTS not long ago. The world kind of overlooked that, but it goes back to what you said. I mean, now you got people that's looking at our guys when you wouldn't have looked at our guys 4 years ago when BTS Connect was in the works.
And think about the little things that they even did before that they aren't even doing now despite having more resources. Remember that letters to the boys that they did? Mm-hmm. They did a bunch of little pop-ups, a bunch of little reconnect with the boys on a regular basis.
Yep. You're not managing the fandom. You're not managing the fandom. You are not. Because
y'all need to call us, get with us, so we can manage the fandom.
Yeah, you are not managing the fandom. The connection between the guys and the fandom, the guys are struggling to hold on to because they know. Why would they sit at the Last Supper and even be afraid that we just want your blessing? We just want you to understand. We just want you to... You should know that you have a connection.
They, for some reason, I don't understand why, but they struggle with the realization that ARMY is for them. Not Big Hit, not HYBE.
Exactly.
Wherever Big Hit and HYBE go, it don't matter. It's them, where they go, what they
And then it's also probably a cultural thing, just like you said. Because culturally, idols aren't supposed to say or reveal that they're tired, or reveal that they need a break, or reveal that it's too much. And we're going to step off to the side and do something, but we promise idols aren't supposed to do that. Culturally,
and I'm going to be honest with you, I would not be surprised, and I know this one's kind of putting it out there, if whoever's managing them within HYBE has been kind of putting some unhealthy thoughts in their ears as well. Because of where they come from. Because the culture that they come from the big three, which is where majority of the staff comes from.
Because we let them in our house.
Yes, exactly. I would be saying things like, do you think these little girls, is what some of them do think, would still follow you guys after this year? Do you think that ARMY will still follow you if you don't do XYZ?
And I was hoping that the concert, when Namjoon revealed to us that he was afraid of how we would react finally after a concert after so long, when he was really scared of how we would present ourselves to him. And ARMY expressed very loudly that, yo, we're still here. Yeah. We still love you. It's not anything else. It's
that
you.
Burns my blood if that's what's happening. Like, that burns my blood.
I wouldn't be surprised.
So here's the thing. Our guy's goal, what did Namjoon say? Namjoon said that what they ultimately wanted as a team, as a group, was to have worldwide stadium tours. That was their goal. Yeah. Because worldwide stadium tours was going to even more connect them with who they love the most. Yeah. ARMY. Yes. ARMY loves them. We love ARMY. Yes. That was their goal. To break into the U.S. market, that wasn't our goal. To make waves in the U.S., that wasn't our goal. To make numbers in the U.S., that wasn't our goal. To open the doors where you could put an agency in the U.S., acquire an agency in the U.S., none of that was our goal. But we got stuck in the middle of this with y'all. But they literally said that was their only goal. So knowing that their only goal was to actually be worldwide, more communicating with us, or more in our face and us in their face, I think they feel like some of that has slipped through their hands.
Oh, absolutely.
They had one worldwide stadium tour. They were about to have another, and pandemic happened.
That tour still haunts me.
Yeah, I think that's a good word to put it.
Yeah, that tour still haunts me. To know that we would have gotten that in person, that haunts me.
It's going to bother me in my next life if it doesn't get resolved.
That was rough. That was just not
I'm going to reincarnate, and I'm going to hear the word concert and get triggered somehow. And I have no idea why. I don't know why the word concert makes me upset, but it does. But absolutely, and this is something that we have seen for years ahead of time, just because of the things that the decisions that were being made way earlier. Because before it was so clear. That's why there was no lapse in communication. There was no doubt, because it was just so obvious and transparent that Big Hit genuinely just wanted to support the boys and connecting with ARMY. The boys were allowed to say whatever they wanted. I mean, do you guys remember the days where Jungkook cried on stage and felt like he had to go on V Live and say sorry about it, and he was in like pajama bottoms?
Yep.
But he was able to do that. He didn't have to call, well, I'm sure he had to talk to someone, but he didn't have to like go through a whole list of people and be like, may I have permission to say XYZ on my V Live? It was just the boys and ARMY, and Big Hit is just there to support them. But now you can feel the shift where it feels like everything that they want to do has to be scrutinized and approved and processed by the rest of the company, because even these photo books feel like a processed product and not just the boys wanting to take some pictures for us.
And we always had we always had content to go along with that. Not just...
That's why Army is like, what is this?
It's a photo book.
I don't think there's more pictures in anybody in the entire world, minus the royal family, who has more pictures than these boys.
Do you guys remember all of the projects that we've also never even like heard more of? Where before they had a secret storyline going, for all the stuff.
That's completely died.
That's been
I remember that.
what happened to that. That was the thing that was going on for a while. They announced a drama. They announced like a movie.
Yeah.
And all of that just died. And we haven't heard head nor tail of it. And then we're just getting these random photo books.
Yep.
That's a great way. It is
so
random.
That's why I said HYBE has their stuff going on, which has to do with products and merchandise and pushing this and pushing that. They've got their stuff going on. And our guys were just supposed to be show monkeys. They were supposed to show up, show out, speak up when we tell you to, do what we have to take, so forth and so on. They've accomplished what they wanted to accomplish, and they just wanted to continue it and still be able to do their own stuff too. I mean,
and the boys aren't used to that.
No.
So I can only imagine how hard it is for them.
I think you put it perfectly when you said there was a shift.
Yes, there was a huge shift.
We need them suckers to shift back. We need y'all to shift back. And I think the only way that will ever happen is through and by Army. I feel like if the boys don't recognize the power that they have, we certainly recognize our power. And as an organized group, we need to help them shift back. I feel like this is the first time I think I've ever felt this way. But I feel like their hands are tied and only we can untie it. And like they're trying, but they're unable to do it. And the only person that can help them is us. I feel like we as a organized fandom need to untie their hands so that we can.
Well, I'm confused about
shift.
Army these days as well too. Just because we have gotten so many more numbers that just through no fault of our own, just by sheer numbers, it's really hard to organize the way that we
I wasn't joking when I said Army is all over the place.
Yeah,
they are all over the place. But I find that most states have like head people or head groups of Army that organize things. Because every concert I've been to, that particular state of Army has things organized for us when we get there. So I feel like each state has, if we could just kind of connect with,
Well, I also think that we've mentioned for a while that we haven't heard a whole lot from K-Army for a long time.
True.
Consider too that we have the privilege of saying all these things and yelling about HYBE here, but slander law is really bad in Korea.
And also HYBE has their clause in a lot of stuff.
Yes, exactly. So even if you were an Army in Korea, I don't think that you could speak up there if you wanted to.
But I mean, you said that last time, but I go back to the fact that in years past, Army was very verbal. They put trucks outside of the company.
But that was before it was HYBE, because back when it was big hit.
But it wasn't considered slander then. They were able to legally do it. People legally do that stuff. And they're just not doing it anymore.
What we're asked, we're not, the goal of that, it would be to slander. The goal
of course not, yeah.
The goal of that would be just to say, hey, as Army, because we're going to be talking about ourselves, we're not happy. Fix this shit.
And that's what it was back then. It was, as Army, we're watching you do nothing. As Army, we're watching our guys go through. As Army,
there's two things. One, public opinion is very important in Korea, as we know. But two, because of what HYBE and the revenue and all that ambassadorship and all that stuff is bringing in for the country, that could stifle K-Army.
You're
that
right
could
about
stifle them. Like, okay, we're not happy as Army, but this is for our country. What are we supposed to do?
I think also before you're basically complaining to PD who you know, but now if you went to HYBE and you wanted to complain, you're just complaining to this faceless organization. Who are you even talking to?
A faceless organization. That is what they are now.
I don't know. I still think there's power in numbers, and I don't.
There is. You're absolutely right about that.
I can't even picture.
I don't understand what K-Army would be upset about. We're not asking you not to represent your country as a whole. We're not.
No. I don't think that it's about whether or not they feel guilty or ashamed. I think it's a matter of, like I said, for the guys, they have a place that's been embedded in them since birth, and they can't cross that line because of their culture.
Right. So let's cross it for them.
That exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for
that.
But
we know you feel what we feel.
I mean, we're sitting here complaining on a podcast.
I think if we can combine somehow our forces outside of K-Army, then K-Army will have some legs to stand on against.
I was just saying that back in the day, that it was a lot easier for us to unite worldwide than it feels like it is these days. And I do also feel like part of it is because the boys are also so scrambled. It's like. To be considerate, I think that there are some armies that don't want to take action without knowing what the boys want. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
So maybe we can put out a little survey. And all the question says is, hey, Army, are you happy with the new direction BTS is going in?
Mm-hmm. But here's the other thing. We know what our boys want.
We know what they want.
That's
they
true.
said at the Last Supper and told us.
Even when our boys don't know what they want, we know what they want.
They said at the Last Supper and told us. And they're actually, I think, getting some of what they need. You know, taking this time and getting some of what they need. But let me go back to what we said at the beginning of this podcast. How are we doing since the Last Supper? They're getting what they need, and I really hope they're getting some of what they need. And I hope behind the scenes that what we don't see, they're getting all of what they need.
I hope they are, because it looks like they're working just as much as they were before. It really does look like that. The only difference is they're working independently, and not together as a whole.
That's what they wanted. That Yoongi wanted to do some of the things that he's doing. I hope Jin is doing some of the things that
I don't mean independently on the things they want to do. I'm talking about independently as far as still with HYBE. Like the thing, like we watched them make stuff, and like when they said they wanted to take a break and really work on the things that they want to work on, I took that to mean that didn't include me. Like I took that to mean that didn't include me. Like that didn't include Army. Like when they said they wanted to take a break means a break. Who the hell are you breaking from? There's only one person to be breaking from, and that's us.
Mm-hmm. You think that those videos that they do, like when Jimin was woodworking and stuff, that was under HYBE?
Yes.
I see what you're saying.
That's
I
work.
don't think
no. Yes, I get what you're saying. Yes, like I said, there are separate things that HYBE is going to continue to do promotionally, merchandise, so forth and so. They're going to continue to, and they
so it's not a break. It's like a
contractually they have to do. I would think they have to do those things.
Something.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. With their partial whatever, I hope they're getting what they intended to get.
They better damn well be.
I hope
if I'm suffering
like this for nothing.
Exactly. They better damn well be if I'm suffering.
We've seen RM accomplish some things. RM is accomplishing some things. He figured out what he wanted to do, which had to do towards the arts community. And he is doing those things. He's accomplishing those things slowly but surely. Yoongi specifically said he wanted to go into other genres, not just rap. He wanted to learn other things. We watched him play the piano. We watched him play Seesaw the other day.
Piano forever, but...
Yeah, but not to that extent. He felt like he was bad at it, and he wanted to pick it back up. He's learning and doing these things. He wanted to get into producing other stuff besides what he was producing for BTS. I mean,
I speculated earlier too, I also don't know if, considering how long the Permission to Dance era took, it was not supposed to take that long, it was supposed to just be one song. We don't know if HYBE wanted to keep continuing that, and the boys themselves were just like, no, like, we're gonna, like, this is our limit, because I would not put it past HYBE to have wanted to keep going.
They definitely would have kept going, but
if I could pose a question to all three of you, because I feel like this conversation has me all over the place.
Yeah.
What is it that you want?
I want the boys to put out the music that they want to put out. That for me, that's bottom line what I want.
I'm torn with what I want, because I want two different things. I empathize with them, and I'm going to say I empathize with them on a whole different level that some people would not even be able to associate the two. But as a mom, I have spent more of my years on this earth being a mom and being responsible for others than I have not. And as a mom, and always being responsible and having to give and give and give and give. And at some point realizing you are more than a mom. You are more than this. You're more than that. Now you need to figure that shit out. So I can empathize with them on that level. Like at some point, I'm not going to ever stop being a mom. They're not going to ever stop being BTS. They're not going to ever stop wanting to give to Army. But they cannot continue to do it effectively. And I cannot continue to be being an effective mom without actually giving back to myself.
So what do you want?
So I'm torn as far as I understand and I want them to have that. Just like I want to have what I need as the other side of the flip coin of being a mom. I understand and I want them to have the other side of the flip coin. I want RM to be RM. I want Yoongi to be Yoongi. And I want them to continue being BTS like they want to. The other thing I'm torn about is... So the other thing I want is, like I said at the beginning, on the other side of that, I am OT7, and I am
greedy.
Struggling.
You're a greedy army.
You said something earlier about maybe this is selfish of me. We have said before numerous times we are selfish. We were brought up selfish. We have to move forward. I want BTS and ARMY to move forward into the future that they see for us.
That's
However, being ARMY from being OG ARMY, I cannot let go of that core part of me that wants those OG days back. That keeps me more torn than anything. So I understand on that coin, and I want us to move forward together, but I cannot let go of those OG days.
What I want is to hold their hand again. I feel like I've been holding their hand for the last 9 years, and at some point they let go. And I'm walking, and I look down and I realize they didn't let my hand go. I want them to hold my hand again, and I want to continue to walk with them. And that's what I want. And I feel like...
So it sounds like basically we all want 0 o'clock in our magic shop.
Right.
On Pond.
Right.
Right
I mean, consider this. We were just watching the Wings concert, which is from like freaking 2017. Because you wanted to be fed. Y'all, you can just put out the album and then go do whatever the hell you want to do for a few months. Like, just give me something to live on.
Yeah.
Something to live on.
And another thing, if ever they listen... Like, guys, I know it is in you to want it to be perfect as a writer. I get it. But nothing is ever perfect. Just let us have it. Let it go. Because I know Jimin keeps saying, I'm going to release the album. I'm gonna, but it's not perfect. It's just not, I want to tweak some things. We don't need it to be perfect. It will always be perfect.
Oh, we love those demos, so yeah, we don't need it.
Yeah,
and
honestly, I don't think they feel like they're wanting. They feel like we need it to be perfect as an artist, and you guys are artists.
Yeah,
y'all know they need it to be.
That's
perfect.
what I'm saying. Like, I get it.
They need
like,
it to
I
be
get
perfect.
it, but come on, let it.
Yeah, we may not need it to be perfect, but
sometimes
they
you can mess
need it
stuff
to
up.
be perfect. And Yoongi did say that you're not gonna get perfection. Just go ahead and put it out, take the feedback, and then you're gonna grow with the next thing that you do.
Awesome.
Well, I think Yoongi's got that down because he has been putting out things
Mixed
pretty
tapes
consistently.
and stuff,
Yeah.
And that was the advice he was giving on to them.
So you want them to be happy and for us to be happy.
Ready.
He was, because as soon as that supper was over, he was like, boom,
ready.
there you go.
And they so much have said so. Like, HYBE has been wanting this for a long time. He was ready. And then Cookie backed it up and said that what they were about to do should have been done long ago. So evidently, each of them, if not the majority of them or each of them wanted this to happen for their own reasons and to do their own things. And that's fine and that's great. And
well, we said when Proof came out that I think that they were supposed to do this during the pandemic, but HYBE didn't let them.
They so should have.
And so if not now, then when? So on that level, I do understand. And that's kind of why I have so much frustration towards HYBE, where I just keep feeling like if they were just able to take the break they were entitled to, in my opinion, during the pandemic, like when everything was stopped, then they would have been much more rested by the time that they were ready to go out and do activities again. But instead, they were tasked and pressured with keeping the company afloat financially, because otherwise, why else would they have had to do all these random ass commercials, all these random ass activities? Because consider also during pandemic time, other than TXT, did anyone else debut during pandemic time?
So.
Exactly.
TXT didn't even debut. They did it pre-pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. So I've mentioned that in the last podcast that they've been debuting some new groups now. But during pandemic time, it was truly and honestly only the boys keeping the company afloat, and they couldn't put on a concert. So unfortunately, they basically just had to bring the bread home during a time that they really should have been resting.
And here we are post-pandemic, and their country was already anticipating what they would bring for them.
Exactly.
Post-pandemic.
Exactly.
So that's a lot. That's overwhelming. That's a lot. And I don't know giving them a break during the pandemic would have been great, but they still wouldn't have been able to do the things that they were talking about they wanted to do because everything was shut down. So they wouldn't, even if HYBE had put out the album, he would not have been able to do HYBE Palooza. He wouldn't have been able to push it and promote it like he would like to and perform in front of Army. RM said, I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but every single one of the guys, every single one of us are talented in our own way. You know, we have these talents in our own way that they need to be able to showcase and put out.
But
and they would not have been able to do that during the pandemic.
Would have been good.
A break, yes, but they wouldn't have been able to do the things that they're anticipating doing right now, which I hope they are doing. I hope they are.
I'm sure that they are. I'm sure they are just because we haven't been hearing for them. But I also say that to say that we talked about they took that one official break before the pandemic. I thought it was mind-boggling that they weren't even able to have another official break during the pandemic. I'm not even saying that if a company couldn't afford it, maybe not the entire 2 years, but I fully had expected them to at least have that 1 month, like 1 to 2 months official break to be a regular thing. When it happened, I was like, oh, this is great that they're going to have this time every year, because in their perspective, if they were able to have that, they can even start making plans with family who they don't get to see most of the year. Hey, during my break time every year, let's get together and do this. That's what I fully expected for them as Army, and I also feel like they were robbed of that. So it's also frustrating as an Army perspective, because exactly like you said, Mimi, you're feeling like they better damn well be doing what they want to do because I'm suffering, but I'm also frustrated because I really don't know if the company is even letting them do everything they want to do. So then it's like, what am I suffering for?
Honestly, maybe I'm pulling from pieces of things that we do see. Like Via's pretty much doing what he wants to do, going where he wants to go. Yoongi is doing what he wants to do, putting out stuff that he wants to put out. Namjoon is doing the thing that he said he wanted to do. I can't speak upon Jimin. Jimin did have several V Lives the other day, and he slow moving, but he is doing stuff. So I guess I'm pulling from the things that they are letting us be privy to. I think they are doing. The problem with me being selfish, I'm not a blink. I don't know how to live between
you can't raise a chubby baby and then just suddenly
I don't know how to go from being fed all the time to what do I do in the in-between time. That's something.
I remember when we feared for paying rent because we just went to a concert. Now we gotta pay for another concert. I mean, of course we're gonna pay for another concert.
Well, consider that too. Like,
tested, that's for sure.
I know that we are also trying to be humble as Army, but like, give us credit too, because we got an entire concert taken away from us, and they're never gonna compensate us for that. I'm just gonna straight up say it. HYBE does not give an ish about compensating us for those lost opportunities that, as we said, still haunt us. Okay. How long did it take them to put one out on Blu-ray, DVD, okay? We got an anthology album instead of an actual album. Like, I feel like we have been holding out for a long time. Like, we haven't been to a concert since 2019.
No. See, we keep jumping past Permission to Dance.
Okay, yeah.
We went to LA.
Yes. That was great.
Don't worry, I've done that too in my head. I'm like, no,
and that was a
we
very
did go
good
to
concert,
LA.
but that was more of a like, hey guys,
we're back.
Bye.
Yeah. I mean, we jammed together.
We're back and bye.
We jammed together. And see, that's the other thing. So we held out and we were like, we're going to make it through. We're going to make it through the pandemic. We're going to make it through. We're going to make it through. We made it through with lots of anticipation. Yeah. And then the Last Supper happened.
Well, yes, we've been in that we're going to make it through energy for so long. At this point, we're like, we ain't got any more. The stores are used up. We got any more food. We're starving. Yeah. We've been rationing everything. Yeah. And all y'all gave us was this cupcake.
Yeah. And now we've said before, the guys have said, and we've said before, this is a lifestyle. It's a culture all our own. The BTS Army universe is a lifestyle and a culture all our own that we have been honing and developing over years. And then we all of a sudden got through a pandemic, which altered our lifestyle and culture. And then now, the guys are altering our lifestyle and culture even more. The agency is, the label is, the guys are. Our lifestyle and culture is just being altered even more. And I'm not a blink. Like I said, I don't know how to do that.
The kinds of stuff we're getting to is truly what I said before, random. And it's like, why are you guys making the boys work? Like, use their precious energy on random stuff. Like, just think about the fact that the boys had to take time to work on that video game, which was cute, but like, did we really need that? In it, like, over an album. That they probably had to put so many hours.
That's in the HYBE bucket.
Within those video games. Yep. They had to put work hours into these random photo books coming out. Yeah. Work hours into the infinite amount of random standalone merch pieces that have come out.
We don't appreciate what we see visually in those photos or enjoy the game and all that stuff. It's a matter of we would trade all of that.
We're not superficial. I'm sorry, we're just not. It's
That's
like
very well put.
We want the boys.
That's the bottom line.
Again, let's say what they're wanting right now, because they told us at the Last Supper also that they can't continue to, and I'm paraphrasing, they cannot continue to give what they've given before because they feel like their cup is overflowed and they got to cut something off. They got to cut something off to be able to come back, like they told us, to be able to come back and give you guys a better version of us.
Exactly. Like I'm walking, I didn't realize they let go of my hand.
I only think that it's rough with that supper. I only think that it got to the point to where their cup was overflowing because of what HYBE did.
Absolutely.
Because the original,
I would have traded
it's
all of this random stuff, even for just another online concert. If they had spent that entire time working on this random video game and these random photo books and XYZ, so on and so forth, and they just traded all of that for even just another online concert, I would have been happy. Because that's...
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let me ask this before we have to start bringing this to a close. If HYBE never happened, Big Hit Entertainment stayed exactly what it was, the overarching umbrella with all of these new things coming underneath them. HYBE never happened, contracts didn't happen, so forth and so on. And our guys stayed the same. But they got to the point to where their cup was still overflowing. And they got to the point to where something has got to give. Would we have felt different? Because
been
better.
And because HYBE would not have been in place at all.
And Big Hit would have communicated with us a lot more properly, a lot more respectfully, and we would have had better content before this, and that.
I think that they would have also fully acknowledged the fact that our concert got taken away from us.
Absolutely.
Because, we are definitely holding on to some resentment because they barely addressed
and
that.
They used to always take care of us. We never needed to feel resentment.
We had armies,
we were always apologized to.
We held on to soundcheck tickets for over a year.
And you meaning
no
HYBE?
word. Yes.
HYBE did.
Yes.
Yeah.
And HYBE addressed it briefly during the Permission to Dance concert ticket selling.
Which was a fiasco.
Briefly. And all they did was let us in first with a bunch of other people.
And it was a fiasco.
With a bunch of other people.
It was a horrible
And that was
there was no
that
loyalty
was literally
for that,
it. Would any army have complained if everybody was just given the same kind of seat that they bought before? Because that would have been fair.
That would have been fair.
Because we held on to those tickets for that very reason.
That would have been fair. But they didn't even do that, and they didn't even apologize. Consider the fact that they didn't even say, Army, we are sincerely so sorry, but our hands are tied with these venues. This is the best we can do.
You know what would have been
with
great?
The money that they had, they could have done way better.
The people who did hold on to their tickets for that 15 years, they could have said, we're going to have to reset. Everybody has to rebuy their tickets, but those who held on for 15 years can get a fammy.
Or anything. Like,
this conversation is making me depressed. Let's wrap it up. I'm depressed.
Well, we need to get all this out.
I've already summarized exactly how I'm doing since the supper. And I am barely making it day in and day out and trying to hold on in my head that our guys sat at that table and said, we are coming back. Never fear. We are coming back. What we do know, and HYBE has kind of hinted to, that 2024 is going to be it for them. HYBE literally said that they're putting stuff in place in anticipation of the ending of their contract in 2024.
Walk away from them,
So we know 2024 is coming upon us like a herd of turtles, and
it's only hard because, like I said, our food stores are up. They never got replenished.
But I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna hold on piece by piece to what our guys told us. We are coming back. Don't worry, we are coming back.
Well, I'm still going to be here until my dying breath, so there's still no question about that. I'm just going to be upset the whole time.
Exactly.
we used this analogy before, and that's really how this podcast feels like to me. Where before, when this stuff was starting to creep in, when we were starting to feel a shift, we had to use the analogy of like, it's almost as if we were in this happy household with the boys.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then some random ass relatives we ain't never heard of came in and said, "We're moving in. We're moving into the bedroom next to you."
DNA test.
At this point, I know, right? I feel like we have just been holding our tongues this whole time because we keep hearing their family. You know, you should just put up with them.
But I don't recognize that. You ain't got my nose.
And then one day, HYBE just drank out of my milk carton in front of me in the kitchen.
Like, what kind
and
of
that was
family you
it,
from?
man. That was it. I am done. I'm done.
Then you ate all my cookies?
Yes.
You ate all
Everything
my
is just
cookies?
coming out. You ate all my groceries and didn't replace a single thing.
Didn't replace not a one.
Hiking up my light bill.
That is how I
gas
feel
in the
it.
car because you keep taking it to work. Like what?
That all accumulated, and now it's just
This
I
is
see
cousin
Uncle in the
Felicia.
kitchen. Yeah,
That's what it is.
I'm
Cousin
like,
G-Ho.
I'm so done with you. And for me, this podcast just feels like that, where I'm just like, this is the last straw.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I've been living with you for these years, trying to just hold it in.
Yeah.
Okay, but now the boys went and took this trip, and it's just us two in the house, and I gotta just say
like,
something.
I'm gonna just say, I think you adopted.
I'm gonna just say you gotta go.
I don't care if you're adopted, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
It ain't working.
This podcast is therapeutic. There are certain things, the years that we've spent together bang-tanging each month with our Army family that's here in the Austin area has been therapeutic, which, I mean, the pandemic basically stripped us of that, and we still have yet to get that up and rolling again. But that was very therapeutic. Our podcasts have become therapeutic. If you find a good YouTuber that is therapeutic, that is right on that Army path with you, that is very therapeutic. But we're finding, I don't know if this is how Blinks, and I keep going back to Blinks because we use them as an example. I don't know if this is how Blinks survived in the in-between time, but this is how we're surviving, or I'm surviving in the in-between
Well, you said
time.
also it's a lifestyle. Part of that lifestyle is, you know, plenty of armies stay in other groups, but some of us literally only have time for BTS.
Yeah.
So if you're this far in and it's like you only have space for BTS, and then they just don't give you what you had made space for, it's like you just feel left high and dry.
It's an empty space.
Yeah, it is an empty space, but you can't give it to someone else. You've already
I've been
reserved it
feeling
for
a
them.
little bit with Park Boom Coom. What's his name? Park Boom Boom.
Wow.
Are you talking about the CEO?
No.
We have no idea what you're
The
talking
The
about.
actor.
What about him?
Park Boom.
Okay, but what about him? You've been
I've been
feeling
feeling
what?
my little space with him.
Oh, feeling it. Feeling it. I thought you were saying
space with little Park.
Oh, with
Park.
watching dramas?
Yes, he's so cute.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, okay, so you and I talked about this briefly, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but the fact that I am going to an upcoming concert and that I have been listening to all different kinds. I started listening to all different kinds of music because I remembered REM's suggestion years ago of you have always got to just listen to as much music as you can because you never know what's going to hit home for you. So I started doing that, and I love that. But I am going to another concert. There is another group that I have really fallen in love with. However, it will never fill that empty space that you just talked about. It won't. I love this new group. I love this group that I am involved with now, and so forth and so on. But it is never going to fill that space. Yeah. Not even.
A lot of it is just its own thing. It's like a standalone thing. It has nothing to do with filling the BTS space. We've all been keeping ourselves busy.
Yeah.
We've all been plenty busy. But you think I wouldn't drop everything literally I'm doing right now
to go to that concert
tomorrow?
To go put that flight together, to go get that Airbnb.
Oh my God! Just the thought of
coins together
boosted my
thought
of it boosted my spirit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We would drop
release
everything.
endorphins. Like,
I mean, I got a company trip coming. What concert? What? No, we drop everything in a heartbeat.
For them,
nothing else matters.
We've been holding that space, and it's all dusty and sad, and that's how we're feeling.
Dusty and sad.
Yeah.
All right, let's end on a positive note. I don't know what that is, but let's end on.
Well, we're ending on a hilarious note. I mean, the analogy of you guys in the house and the family, and y'all kicking the adopted kids out. I mean,
like I said, I realized it as I said it. You can hold it in while the boys are still there, but the boys go on a trip and it's just y'all two in the house. Something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Something's gonna
my
come
thing
out.
is, if you ain't getting out my house, I'm burning the house down, and moving somewhere else.
We're gonna build this house
that's
again.
the problem.
Right.
At this point, you're sure you're the problem. At first, I thought it might have been me. It's you. you.
Let's end this way. Let's talk directly to the guys. So, wherever you are, whatever you're doing right now, I miss you. I want you. I want you to be doing everything that you want to be doing, but do not forget that I am here and waiting.
Yeah.
My hand is cold. I need you to put your fingers intertwined with mine. And I miss you. I love you. Please enjoy this time. Enjoy every moment of it. Because it's going to be a black eye if you try to do this crap again.
Yeah. If you guys come back and you're still doubting how much we love you, I will smother you.
with our love. How about that there?
Yeah.
This is so harsh.
It's like we love you, but we gonna see you
taking a little turn, y'all.
RM, if I hear a little bit more of that, you're gonna doubt yourself and how old you're getting. Ooh, I will hug you so hard.
Yeah.
It makes all the sense that you guys give us in the world. You have zero sense when it comes to recognizing the kind of love we have for you.
Yeah.
Like it's unbowed, unbent, unbroken.
Yeah.
Like you cannot take it away, and it's for you, not for HYBE, not for Big Hit. It's for you.
Yes.
Yep. That's why you have to take responsibility. It's like you gave me this disease. It's incurable.
Right.
I have no choice but to live with it now.
Right.
That's heavy. Y'all,
Take responsibility.
You thought your country demanded a lot.
Right.
You got 90 million strong armies going.
This is just me speaking emotionally.
You got to take responsibility.
But I come first. Okay?
Yeah.
Put all those duties aside.
Right.
I was here before that.
Right.
I come before that, okay?
And also because of the fact that we know you guys struggle. We know you're human beings.
Right.
You have pain, you have sorrow, you have anxiety, you have wants and needs. We know that. It's cool, it's fine. But share that with us.
Yeah.
You're supposed to call me first.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. On that note.
I love you.